the 50 verses of Guru devotion, Guru Panchasika texts that says very clearly, if one does not have one permission from one's Lama to receive teachings from anywhere else, whatever teachings one gets, one will not gain realization. And that's why in my Gurus for Hire, Enlightenment for Sale, I mentioned very clearly, I don't like center hopping, and I don't like Lama hopping. One Lama, one center, one lineage. Respect all, follow one. Respect all, follow one. And I base my teachings on Gurus for Hire, Enlightenment for Sale on the 50 verses of Guru devotion. I didn't make up those teachings. It just didn't come to my mind. But I apply it in more contemporary circumstances. So therefore, why I encourage the one Guru, one center, one lineage practice in my Dharma center is not because I don't respect other centers. No. It's because I respect the other centers so much, I do it one. Because that one Guru, one center policy applies to them also. If people from other centers come, you know my policy. You be nice to them, be kind, answer the question, ask them, go back to their Guru, go back to their center. Because when you encourage center hopping and Lama hopping, you encourage broken samaya among Guru and students. If a student asks me, may I go to another Lama, all that stuff, if the Lama is not my Guru, I say, better not. Better stay and do what we do. If they want to go to one of my Gurus, I cannot say no. Wrong or right, I cannot say no because it's my Guru. Their choice. So my point is, what is Gurus for Hire, Enlightenment for Sale is 100% based on Guru Panchasika, the 50 verses of Guru devotion by Ashvagosha. 100%. I did not pull that out of the air. And I only made it very contemporary, and I added one new phenomenon. That phenomenon was the mushrooming of Dharma centers around the world. You see, because Buddhism is not like the Vatican, where they have a vast store of money and they could just send priests and send cardinals or send bishops or whatever to a country or place and just build from a central fund. And later, when they build, their flocks come, and then from their flocks they can take a percentage and take the money back and give it back to the Vatican. We don't have that. We don't have a Buddhist Vatican. Buddhism is when a teacher goes out, you're on your own. Really is you're on your own. Buddha set that up. So, I can't go to our leader, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and say, oh, can I have 300 million, interest-free, no timeline to build TKL so I can glorify Tsongkhapa? No such thing. But maybe the Vatican, you have that system. Okay, now, so there's this. So Dharma is spreading through Dharma centers around the world, where the centers have become temples, the temples have become institutions, the institutions become legends over time. Like that's what happened to Gaden Monastery. It became a legend. It's a legend now, 600 years old. So hence, in Gurus for Hire, Enlightenment for Sale, I mentioned specifically, I don't like Guru hopping, center hopping, and lineage hopping, teacher hopping. Why? You destroy yourself. Then you're not here, you're not there. Look, if your teaching is giving a teaching, you should be there. If your teaching is doing something, you should be there. If you're somewhere else, it reflects your mind. It reflects who you are. It reflects how you have not even finished one and you're jumping somewhere else. That's based on those teachings. 1, 2, if you hop from lineage to lineage, there's nothing wrong with any of the other lineages. There's never been anything wrong. And if anybody tells you there's something wrong with this lineage, that lineage, remember this key. If anyone tells you there's anything wrong with this lineage or that lineage, you say to that person, thank you very much. I've got something to do. I've got to go now. Because if a Gelupa criticizes another lineage criticizes another lineage, Gelupa, Nyingma, Sakya, whatever, wrong. Wrong. I'll give you the basis. If any of the lineages are wrong, that means in that lineage they have 0 enlightened beings. That's not true. That's not true. So there's no enlightened beings in Nyingma? No lah. There's no enlightened beings in Gelupa? No way. There's no enlightened beings in Thailand? No way. There's no enlightened beings in China, in Mahayana system, in Japan, in Zen? No, definitely not. So if there's no enlightened being, that's proof that that lineage is wrong, but that's not the case. So you can use logic. If anyone says, oh, that teaching is wrong, Gelupa's wrong, Sakya's wrong, Nyingma's wrong, Sakya's wrong, or like Hinayana's wrong, Mahayana, anybody says that to you, cut them off politely and with compassion say, I don't want to engage in this because I don't agree. Sorry. That's all. Because if your merits are low and they put things into your head, you can be turned to think otherwise. Nothing worse than sectarianism. Nothing worse. So for Gurus and Hire, I want that. I want centers to respect each other. I want centers to stop trying to gain membership at the cost of Buddhism in general. I want centers to stop trying to gain membership and sponsorship for their holy projects by unholy means. Putting another Lama down, criticizing another lineage, putting down monks, putting down a certain set of teachings, putting down a certain practice. Why are you putting down those practices? Why are you putting down the lineage? Why are you putting down the Lama? Why? Because you want those people to lose faith in what they're doing, so they come to what you're doing, so you get the money and the support to build your holy temple. Holy schmoly. That's what you're doing. That's why in Kuala Lumpur, I am very against center hopping and Lama hopping. And I know people who hop to every single Lama who shows up in town. If you ask them who or what lineage they are, they don't know. It's Rojak. It really is. And you know what happens? In the end, their mind is Rojak. They don't know what's going on. And I have met people in the last 20 years whose minds are completely mixed up. They're not crazy. No. They just mix up. They don't know what. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know how. They are very confused. I met them. I won't name any names, but I met not one or two, quite a many. My point is, that's why Gurus for hire, enlightenment for sale. I stress one Lama, one lineage, one teaching, one practice. Why? Who made who the spiritual police? Who made anyone the spiritual police? Who made anyone the spiritual heir to be the police of the whole Buddhist world? Who? Who has the right to criticize anyone? No one has that right. So hence, what's very important is this, is people who criticize other lamas and centers, and people who put other lineages down and practices for whatever validation, whatever big names they use, whatever big people had said this and this, whatever big quotes they give, 99% of the time is not because they're out for your welfare. 99% is to debunk your faith and bring you over to their practice and their lineage. One, to show off to people, see how good I am, I can bring these people over. It's another fear tactic. Number two, it is to create membership and money in their center. And three, it is to show everybody how good they are. And let me share something with you. But you see, the projects that they tell you are always holy. They want to make a statue, they want to help the monks, they want to build a temple, and they tell you that, so come to them and help and donate and whatever, right? Their objective is very holy. But after they build their center, people in that center cannot gain attainments. Do you know why? Because the basis of that building was negativity. So although the center may be big and large and huge, people in that center will not transform and gain attainments because the foundation was already wrong. Do you understand? So if you have murdered 500 people and robbed them blind and build a care center, I don't think many people come to your care center if they knew the history or be involved or participate. So your care center will never care for anybody. Do you understand my meaning? So hence, centers who grow, listen carefully, centers who grow at the expense of other centers and lamas will never gain attainments in their center because they have contributed to the broken samaya of that student and their lama by infecting their mind with negative, ugly, mean, fallacious talk. So once they lose faith in their lama, they join a new lama, no attainments. And their center will never grow and increase. Their center growth is, I need to tell people here, growth is not money. Growth is not building. Growth is not material things in your center. Wow, we built a 10-story center. Wow, we got all sponsors. Everybody in the group is a dansri, whatever. That's not growth. Growth, according to Lama Tsongkhapa, is inner growth. Let me explain why briefly and directly. Because all outer growth is going to decompose, degenerate, and go back to dust in the ground. So why is a big building, why is getting money and sponsors growth? Those will decompose. Those will degenerate and be destroyed. But inner growth, inner attainments, never ever degenerate, never decompose. Even when your body rots to the ground, even when your body completely becomes dust and sand again, your mind still is growing. whether you take on a formless existence or a formed existence, sukta sume, whether you take on a form or formless existence, your mind will continue to grow and remain at its growth level. Hence, when I say growth in a center, don't be taken aback when people do nasty things and evil things and their center is growing, they can raise funds, they get a new building, they bought their own building. Big deal. Big deal. So what? That's people who don't understand what growth is. Hence, I'll give you logic. If you think that's growth, does that mean Milarepa never grew? Milarepa didn't have any temples. He didn't build anything. His abode was a cave in a mountain with nettle. So Milarepa never grew? No. Milarepa grew farther than anybody in the world. So hence, growth, other centers who grow, inverted commas, materialistically grow, at the expense of other centers, they will continue to materialistically grow. Negative karma breeds negative karma. But spiritually, they will not grow. They'll have initiations, they'll have teachings, they'll have ceremonies, they'll have offerings, they'll have events, but they don't grow. Do you know why they don't grow? Because the growth is, we're talking about inside. Buddha didn't have any temples. Buddha didn't have anything. He grew, he became a Buddha. You know, hello, hi, Buddha. Think about it. Tsongkhapa. Toward the end of his life, Tsongkhapa built Gaden Monastery and died in Gaden Monastery. But his whole life he practiced in caves and secluded places all over the place. He wandered like a nomad getting teachings. He had 45 gurus. My point is very simple. When he went from one guru to another, he learned all he can from that guru. And the gurus themselves said, oh, Losang Chakpa, that's his name. Oh, Losang Chakpa, you go to this guru, I heard they can give you this knowledge. Because during Tsongkhapa's time, not one guru knew everything. It's only during Tsongkhapa's time that he gathered all the teachings and gathered into one. So Gelugpa is a synthesis of Nyingma, Kagyu, and Sakya. And how did it become the synthesis? Because Lama Tsongkhapa went and studied under 45 teachers of those three great, fabulous, unmistaken lineages. Lama Tsongkhapa had great Nyingma gurus, great Kagyu gurus, great Sakya gurus, and he combined all those teachings into one. So at his time, there was no one person who knew everything. But there were many people who knew one thing very well and became enlightened. There were very enlightened masters in Nyingma, Sakya, Kagyu. Very, very enlightened. They were fully enlightened. But they didn't know, the Nyingma didn't know Sakya or Kagyu, just for example's sake. Lama Tsongkhapa was the first person to absorb all this, realize it, and become a master of all trades. All. So that's why Gelugpa is very special. That's why Gelugpa has a very special respect for Nyingma, Kagyu, and Sakya. So when you practice Gelugpa, you don't have to practice anything else, because everything is included. Everything. Look at the great masters that Gelugpa has produced, such as the Dalai Lama, such as the Panchen Lama. They're as famous as the sun and the moon in Tibet. The sun and the moon. Nobody on this planet doesn't know what a sun and the moon is. Whether you speak Chinese or English or Tibetan or whatever, every language has a word for sun and moon. Even in barbaric land, you know, like unga, 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 unga. Everybody's got a word for it. You know what I mean? That's how famous the sun and moon is. So when you say a Lama is famous as sun and moon, nobody in Tibet didn't know who Panchen Lama and Dalai Lama was. And they were direct disciples of the great, incomparable Tsongkhapa. So hence, when you see the disciples, you gain faith in the actual Buddha. This exists because of Tsongkhapa. We're here because of Tsongkhapa, by the way. We're sitting here talking about the mind because of Tsongkhapa. Even that kind of direct influence he has in our lives. So to have a Tsongkhapa statue, to have a Tsongkhapa tanka, to do Tsongkhapa retreats, to do Tsongkhapa mantra, and to promote Lama Tsongkhapa's practice, you will bring the same benefits to hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. If you have any sense in your mind and you have any merit, you will live the rest of your life promoting Lama Tsongkhapa's practice, teachings, image, statues, meditations, and recitations. There's no more meaningful activity than that for a layperson who's not a monastic, who doesn't have much time. Promote Tsongkhapa, talk about Tsongkhapa, explain about Tsongkhapa, master Tsongkhapa, understand what his body looks like, understand his biography, understand his teachings as much as you can, know his mantras, know his meditations, receive his lineage, receive his oral transmissions, and share with other people. There is no more meaningful in life than that for a non-monastic. But while you're spreading Tsongkhapa to other people, you must develop the very qualities that you are spreading. Compassion, fortitude. So hence, Dalai Lama exists because Tsongkhapa exists. Trijang Rinpoche exists, Gaden exists, Sarah exists, Drepul exists because Tsongkhapa existed. And all these great masters are running around the world. All these great masters traveling compassionately around the world. Most of the names you mentioned is because of the kindness of Lama Tsongkhapa. They exist. So, if you see a well-groomed, wonderful, mannered, educated, very polite, wonderful son, then you can pretty much think that the parents are pretty great, because that's the result of the parents. If you see the son as, well, like that lah, you know the parents are like that lah. So hence, well, don't look at me and think about Tsongkhapa, please. I put my own foot in my mouth. Okay, never mind. Now my point is what is simple. All these have existed because of Lama Tsongkhapa, although he has died. Vajrayogini is in front of us with a perfect practice because of Lama Tsongkhapa. Even her iconography is perfect because of Lama Tsongkhapa. Imagine all this. And our retreat lands will manifest and benefit hundreds and thousands of people because of Lama Tsongkhapa. Because I'm creating it together with you, and I exist because Gaden exists. Gaden exists because Lama Tsongkhapa existed. Again, Lama Tsongkhapa. So if you say, I don't have that much time, but I want to do everything I can, promote Tsongkhapa. Tirelessly promote Tsongkhapa. Okay? Now, one Lama, one center, one lineage is not at the expense of other lineages. It's at the respect of other lineages. Because if you practice well, it looks good for all Buddha Dharma. Doesn't it? They're not going to say, oh, he's a Gelugpa Buddha. They're going to say he's a Buddha. What about Gelugpa Buddha? What about Nyingma Buddha? Which Buddha? Hey, hello Shakyamuni, are you Nyingma? Let me think about it. Come on. Hey Tara, are you Gelugpa? Let me think about it. Well, maybe I am. Should I get a yellow hat? Oh, please, Tara. You're not Tara. You're a manifestation of Amara. What Buddha has got a lineage? Think about it. When you become a Buddha, it benefits all Buddha Dharma. It gives courage to all. When you become a Buddha. You don't become a Gelugpa Buddha, do you? Is there a Gelugpa Buddha here? People say, oh, Tsongkhapa's Gelugpa. My foot! He's a Buddha, not Gelugpa Buddha. There's no such thing as a Gelugpa Buddha. Anybody says he's a Gelugpa Buddha, we can debate with them. And if they still want to fight about it, you go for lunch and you come back. Let them fight it out with themselves. Now, so in Guru Higher Enlightenment for Sale, I'm very, very strong on not making your Dharma center grow at the expense of others. I'm talking about physical, materialistic growth, Inner growth will never happen. So that's why we must create harmony. We must let people know how to interact with each other. We must make this set of teachings very available for others in many languages. Do you know why? It will help the phenomenon of the mushrooming of Dharma centers around the world, who fight, who conflict, who point fingers, who are competitive for negative reasons. We must help. Previously, there's no such phenomenon center, so we don't need to talk about that.